Welcome, everybody, to another episode of In Lieu of Murder with Amanda Marie.
And I know today we're going to be talking about the two twins that were found dead in the Georgia mountains that were on their way to Boston and never
This is
made it.
a sad story.
It is pretty sad. But I'm going to go ahead. Let's just dive right in. I'm going to pull up the article because I think something fishy is going on over here, to be honest with you. Those are the twins, by the way. If those ads don't get out of the way, there you go. Those are the twins.
Aw, they're such babies.
They're really cute. Um, let me make this a little bit bigger. So
Oh, that's that firefighter.
yeah, so it's this is originally they hadn't accused anyone, but and still I'm just gonna go ahead and read it because if not, I'm gonna confuse you guys. But Georgia firefighter fired for sharing death scene photos of twin brothers murder suicide on Mountain Peak. Um, so this man right here, fucking despicable looking motherfucker, sorry, was fired and arrested for allegedly taking photos of the gruesome scene where twin 19-year-old brothers were found dead on top of a mountain and sharing them publicly. The fucking audacity. I just want to stop right there 1 second. Amanda, the fucking nerve, the audacity, the disgusting nature of a fucking human to share death scene photos when the family is out there, like in today's fucking world, like social media is.
Hey, I need to. Not that it is going to excuse anything that he. I need to know what mountain area in Georgia these kids were found on.
These kids were found on, it's so Scott Skirling is from Towns County.
Towns County.
Yeah.
Oh, I already know the deal out there. All right.
Um,
So you know what? Let's go ahead and put this man more in a despicable place. So, Towns County is a good old boy county. And if you're
mm,
an American at all, you already know what that means. So, the reality of what he did is he went up there and he took those photos to show either his friends or to someone else that two younger African American men were killed up there. Blase, blase, blah. And it's not my place to call this man racist, but if he ain't racist, I guarantee you some of his friends or family is from that if they're in that county. That's just how these towns out here work. Towns County is known for being a good old boy county.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me to be quite honest with you, but um, so he's a volunteer firefighter from Towns County, and he's accused of interfering with the investigation regarding the deaths of of Lawrenceville brothers Qaadir and Naazir Lewis, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced their names, on March 8th. So the 42-year-old Shutterbug, what is that? What is this? Does anybody know what a Shutterbug is? If
A
anybody knows.
shutterbug? Hold
Uh-huh.
on. Alexa, what is the definition of a shutterbug?
A shutterbug is a term used to describe an amateur photographer who is extremely
An amateur photographer.
It especially applies to
Alexa, stop.
Allegedly, and they're calling him an amateur photographer? Really? Okay.
It's just so it goes on to say that they consider themselves amateur photographers, not
Okay.
that other people consider
All
them.
right. Perfect. Allegedly shared the photos of the Lewis brothers' death scene to the public, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations announced on Tuesday. Mystery surrounding the location of the Lewis brothers first arose when they missed their 7 a.m. flight out of Atlanta on March 7th. Their bodies were discovered by a hiker around 11 a.m. The next day, the North Carolina border, approximately 117 miles northeast of the airport. The twins from the Atlanta suburb of Lawrenceville died in a suspected murder suicide, according to GBI's preliminary investigation. Officials did not disclose who the gunman was in the shooting. The brothers were supposed to be in Boston visiting friends at the time of their deaths. Family members say their airplane tickets were found in their wallets at the scene. Autopsies were completed by the medical examiners awaiting additional forensic tests before releasing the results. Curlin Haiwanese was charged with misdemeanor of obstruction. He was also relieved of his duties for violating department protocol, and he later bonded out of jail, of course, according to the outlet. Officials did not release any information or details in the case. And it goes on to saying that grieving relatives that had trouble accepting the murder suicide cause of death, claiming the brothers had a huge support system if they were having problems. And this is a quote from the family. We're just trying to figure out what happened. We're trying to put pieces together to understand. How did they end up in the mountains? They don't hike out there. They have never been out there. The brothers aunt Samira Bronner told WSBTB. This is another picture of them. Those are in some nice suits. The twins' uncle, Rahim Bronner, shared a similar sentiment as he had never heard of the brothers being physically abusive to each other. He said, and I quote, I can't imagine them hurting each other because I've never seen them get into a fist fight before. Their uncle said, murder, suicide? I just believe that they were extremely incapable of that. And so here's the thing with this. Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. And you know what doesn't make sense to me the most? It's the
That
quickness.
it happened on top of a mountain in a good old boy town. That's what
Mhm.
doesn't make sense to me the most. Why would they go there?
Exactly, with the plane tickets still in their fucking pockets. But what doesn't make sense to me is the quickness at which the authorities arrived to the conclusion that it was a murder suicide. Without having a complete investigation, because I don't know if usually the police don't disclose like like not the cause of death, but they don't disclose like their
And
theories about it until they have completed an autopsy, like in an actual report. But they like straight up went and said, oh, this was murder suicide. They were found on top of the mountain with their tickets and the plane tickets and their fucking like it just.
right, but I can tell you now, if they find me and I know on top of a mountain tomorrow, they're gonna be like, "Wait, this don't look right."
Mhm. And like the direction, from what I heard, the direction that the mountain was at was like completely in the complete opposite direction from where the airport was at. So they weren't familiar with this area. Like they wouldn't go hiking here. It's almost like somebody took him up in the mountain and shot him.
That's exactly what I think happened. And I'm not saying that every good old boy town is horrible. I live in a good old boy town. It's not actually bad here. There are certain people, but everyone knows who those certain people are, and those certain people won't cross certain lines with me. So I'm not anyways. But not all the towns are like that here. Towns County has a rep, and it takes a lot to get a reputation like that.
Mhm.
So there can't be a reason that that rep is there if it's not somewhat of a true statement.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I live in a racist county, but my county doesn't have that reputation. And so for them to have the good old boy town reputation,
That
and then
says
for
something.
something like this to happen to two young African American males on top of a mountain. So y'all really think that the last thing they wanted to do before they got on the plane and flew out to their friends and stuff was to go to the top of a mountain? Because I have never said, "Ooh, I'm so excited for this trip. Someone take me to the top of a mountain."
And
And
then
I
they're
live
gonna get
down
up there
there.
and do a murder suicide.
Yeah, and then I get up there and I'm just like, "Oh man, life sucks. Come here, let me shoot you." What? That don't make no sense. Even if one of them was clinically depressed, the other twin would have talked them out of it because twins do better together. It's been a proven fact over the years that if one twin passes away, the other one declines medically very quickly. It's been proven over the years the other twin would have lifted that other twin up. They wouldn't have just done that.
It's just like super
And
suspicious.
that's an outsider speaking. You know what I mean? I don't even know these kids.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
but I feel for their mom, and I hope she pushes for a full investigation.
I hope so too. And I hope she gets somewhere because unfortunately, I feel like the way that America is right now, there's a lot of racial tensions and there's a lot of people that are extremely racist that feel really emboldened by the things that are happening here. And it's sad to say, but a lot of local like sheriff departments and a lot of local like enforcement, law enforcement, they don't place as much importance on cases when the people are not white, if that makes sense. Um,
I feel like that was racist, ma'am, and I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but no, you're right. You're right.
it's the truth. And again, I feel uneasy with the quickness at which they arrived to the conclusion that it was a murder suicide. It's almost like it gives them a reason not to investigate any further. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest solution. What more do
Exactly.
you need?
Case
Both of
closed,
them are
murder
dead,
suicide.
done at the scene. One of their fingerprints are on it. There may be a little bit of GSR. It couldn't be the fact that maybe they were shooting back at somebody,
Yeah.
that was shooting at them, which
I
in
mean,
Georgia shouldn't be anything surprising because gun laws here are very, very relaxed.
yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like, they don't even mention in the report whether guns were found at the scene, whether the guns were found near them. Like, how did they fucking arrive to that conclusion? Number one, like, I would like to know, because they don't mention it. They don't say anything.
Well, because there probably weren't guns there. Their theory probably was something like, one of
A
them
bear
killed
took the
one of
guns
them,
away.
and he killed himself. And as he was killing himself, he threw his gun over the side of the mountain.
It just it really doesn't make any sense to me at all. And it sucks because if this mother, if this family, if the autopsy or the conclusion of the police department is that it was a murder suicide, that's the end of that fucking investigation.
It's so sad.
And I'm just saying,
And
you
I'm so
have to.
sorry. This is completely random, but I just need to share it because my brain has to. Just now when you said autopsy, I don't know why, but my brain was like, that's the wrong word. Um, and I thought the word was optometrist. So I Googled optometrist. And it's definitely autopsy. She meant the right thing. She said the right thing. And I just had to share it because it was in my brain. But continue.
Yeah, no, I was just wanting to say one last thing. How as I'm trying to collect my thoughts in my head before I say it out loud, because if not, they're just going to be words and it's not going to be a phrase. But in order, how the environment that you have to be in to feel comfortable enough to share pictures of two dead kids and feel comfortable enough to do it, knowing or thinking that you're not going to get in trouble. Like, what
It's not even
environment is
about
that?
trouble to me. Like, okay, I know, like, I'm obsessed with true crime, y'all. I listen to true crime and Law and Order SVU all day, every day while I'm working, while I'm trying to go to sleep. We're not talking about killers, Amanda's typically not in the conversation. I don't know why. It keeps me calm. And that sounds really weird to say out loud. However, I can tell you that if someone I knew ever sent me a picture of two dead people, boys, children, whatever, I would absolutely lose it on them. And I would probably report them to authorities and more than likely throat punch them. Um, but only because that's very sadistic to me. Like, so you went to this scene that is absolutely tragic, and the first thing your brain said was, "Let me take some pics with my cell phone."
Yep.
Because listen, I'm a selfie queen. I'm all about the selfies. Check my page. Check my credentials. You know, I take selfies everywhere I go. You're never gonna see me do it there. Who does that?
A really sick, demented son of a bitch. That's who does that shit.
Man, I
And
hope that they lock him away and throw away a key. Like, I hope he does real time. And I don't mean that to be mean to his family or those that care about that. I mean that because I want to protect you also. Because if he's willing to take those pictures and be happy and satisfied with those in his phone, then whoever you are, he don't really love you because he's not capable of true emotions. Those are psychopathic tendencies.
yeah, so fuck him. And with that said, this is a really sad story. The more we find out, maybe we'll do another episode to update you guys. But
Absolutely.
before we go, I just want to say, like, rest in peace, obviously, to them, and also
Condolences to the family.
condolences to the family
Really
because
sad.
they
And
don't
if there's
deserve.
anything we could do to help, if you ever feel like you could get your information, your word, your plea out even more, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll put it out. We'll put anything you want to say to the world out on this podcast for you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. Thank you
Like
so
and
much.
subscribe.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.